All right, moving on to Game 6. Shuttle playing absolutely fantastically in the last two games, but to some degree, also just taking advantage of his opponent's mistakes. Hero and Mine both making pretty huge mistakes. But we are going to be going into the sixth game. It's going to be Shuttle versus Larva. This one's going to be on Longinus 2. Longinus 2, another atypical A-standard map, 3 players. In the top left-hand corner, in the beautiful silver grayish, that is going to be Larva. The last hope. Actually, it's not the last hope for Zerg. Zerg is actually doing pretty well since Hero did well earlier. But down here in the bottom left-hand corner, in the yellow, playing fantastically, always does really well at these race wars, it's going to be Shuttle. So, one thing I always talk about with Longinus is just a really weird map. The third base on Longinus is really difficult to take, and just the layout of this map is so strange that it's very difficult to really find a good footing going into the mid-game for the Protoss player. Zerg can take 3 very easy bases and defend them pretty well overall, but it's still a question mark of how do we get into the late game, how do we manage to make sure we don't die before the Protoss gets that gigantic army which can control the center of the map, because as with all 3-player maps, controlling the center of the map is absolutely everything. It's so important to be able to control the center of the map. And interestingly enough, because the chokes on this map, the main ramp, or the main choke, it's not even a ramp, is actually just as wide as the natural one, it almost never makes sense to wall off the main. You just always wall off the natural because it's just better. Basically. So this is going to be a pretty interesting match. Lots of interesting things you can do on Longinus 2. Larva so far opting to play a little bit standard, going for the 12 hatch, or the 11 hatch rather, into the 13 pool. So, sorry, into the 12 pool. Gosh, my brain. So, playing pretty standard, playing pretty safe. And behind this, Shuttle is going to be doing his standard opening as well. This is the kind of standard openings we expect to see in this matchup. This has been standard for I don't even know how many years. Basically since Bisu invented Reaver Corsair. It's been basically since this has existed. Almost always are going for 3 bases. Protoss going for 4 chest expand into Corsairs. Basically that's all. So, third base is actually going to be going down far away for Larva. Makes sense for Larva's playstyle. I always talk about the difference between taking a close or a far away third as the Zerg and ZVP. When you take the close one, you're generally aiming for a more mid-game focused build, mid-game focused strategy. It basically just allows you to get a ton of Hydras up in a general spot and move them out across the map. There's not a lot of area to defend, and the units can easily bounce in between. I don't know why that happened. We'll just go ahead and close that off. But when you take a far away third, you're much more focused on the late game. It allows you to take that free 4th base behind it and take up to the hive, get the 4 gases, and just ram units on your opponent's throat. However, what we see from Larva is Larva just plays mass turtle style. He just will not die, so he's going to take all 4 bases and then never move. That's it. He's just never going to move. He's going to put all of the onus on the Protoss player to put all the pressure on him, and he's just going to defend with lots of lurkers, lots of scourges, and static defense. That's basically it. That's all Larva does in this matchup. That's what he loves to do. So, Probe is going to get into the main, going to be able to get a free scout and see what's going on. One thing that I noticed that Zerg players are not doing a lot, at least so far in the games today, is really not doing a lot to deny scouting. That's something we saw Shine pull out in the ASL 3. Shine's particular style relied heavily on just denying your opponent's scout at every single turn, preventing them from getting the information they need with their early workers, but it seems like that has been mostly undervalued by these players. They prefer a little bit more just going standard and not really caring if their opponent's scouts it, so a bit of an interesting way of doing things. And so both players just going to be building up right now. Honestly, there's not a lot to talk about. We saw the Stargate go down. That's probably Citadel. So, not really surprised so far at what we're seeing. Actually, sorry, it's not a Citadel. You have to make the first Corsair before you make a Citadel. Silly me. Silly me. Now the Citadel will be going down. And Larva's just going to be taking up to that Spire and going into 5 hatches. Yay! So exciting, so much fun. Longinus, of course, as I said though, Longinus does present a lot of challenges. Because middle map control is so important, if you don't have a strong ground army, you're basically giving up the middle of the map. But like I said, Larva doesn't even care that he's giving up the middle of the map because he knows he can just survive. He can just turtle, be a cockroach, and never die. So, it works well for Larva overall. I like that he's going ahead and starting out with these really nice walls. You can see the hatcheries being right up against the walls. It's going to allow him to go ahead and put a building in front, and then he can just place a whole bunch of static defense behind that. Allows him to basically just clog up tons of chokes and prevent the Protoss player from ever actually getting in there with those early zealots. So, first, Corsair gets out, scouts out, sees what's going on. Totally standard. The standard response to this is Zerg is you go for the fast fire, you get 2 sets of Scourge and split them up on the map. That allows you to pick off any potential Corsairs on the center of the map, and also allows you to just go ahead and scout into your opponent's base. It forces the Protoss player to go ahead and make cannons in their natural and their main, just to make sure that they can protect those Corsairs properly. Now, as you saw a little bit there, Larva tried a cute little trick where he ran in with his Lings at the same time to try to tank the cannon shots, but unfortunately it didn't work out, and the Scourge did not get a free kill. A little bit of an early move out from Shuttle. This is a bit non-standard. Usually you expect the move out to be a little bit later, but very quick reflexes from Larva. He's going to be able to get those Sunkens up on time to deal with this attack. And the follow attack is going to be coming a little bit later with +1 and Zealot legs. Meanwhile, the Templar Archives behind this, very smart play as well. Getting that Templar Archives up behind this allows you to just go ahead and go into the DTs. Also allows you to get a High Templar for the large Hydra switch. And it looks like this is going to be getting straight for the 3rd base right now. Is there enough defense over here? That's what I'm curious about. If there's not enough defense, it might be a little bit difficult to defend. There are a couple Lings here that are going to be able to plug up these chokes for as long as possible, and with the drones there as well, that's actually very nice so far. They're just glitching the heck out of all of these zealots, but there really just isn't a lot to defend. I really need to see some units moving out across the map from Larva. He's doing a fantastic job so far, but he's lost a lot of drones throughout all of this. He's lost a lot of Lings as well. And the first 2 Dark Templar are out. Are there any Overlords over here? This is, oh good, an Overlord just barely gets out in time, so looks like for right now, Larva's going to be okay. A little bit late on the defenses there, but he is going to eventually be able to clean this up. Wow, that stupid gap in the mineral is going to allow the Zealot to get free kills. No defense over here against these Corsairs. Oh no! This is absolutely devastating. This is how I lose games. Oh my gosh, the DTs are right on top of the Spore. The Spore's going to be going down. There's no defense for this base. This base is actually just going to be going down. This is awful for Larva. Just Larva not quite on top of all of his timings and being a little bit greedy, taking that 4th base very, very early. And it's coming back to bite him. He doesn't have the units to defend that 3rd base. He doesn't have the Overlords, and this is absolutely devastating. He's going to lose a lot over here at this 3rd base. Even if he doesn't outright lose the hatch over there, it's still done a lot of damage to his economy. It's taken out a lot of those Sunkens as well, so follow-up Zealot attack is going to be absolutely devastating. Eventually he's going to be able to clean this up, but the micro so far has been absolutely insane from Shuttle. What is up? How is Shuttle this good? I don't even understand. Remember when Shuttle was just kind of alright? Why is he so good right now? And a Shuttle play coming in right now. Is this a Reaver, or is this just more DTs? Looks like it's more DTs coming into the main. So DTs are going to go ahead and start getting some damage down there. There's no Overlord there. There's a couple Lings, but who cares? There's no Overlord. Even more drones going down right now. This has just been absolutely disastrous for Larva so far right now. And the Spire might be going down as well. These DTs continuing to kite back and stay alive. It's insane how they're still alive. The Spire does go down, so no more Scourge for a while. It's going to be a while before these Corsairs can actually be countered, and going up to 6 to 8 gateways now. Tons of Zealots floating out across the map. There aren't any more Sunkens there. There's no units. These are just Lings to defend versus +1 Zealots. It's not going to happen. This is pretty much game over. The Zealots are going to come in here again. There is the GG. Immediately Larva knows. Fantastic play from Shuttle. Just tons of pressure all out across the map.